Hi, this is Vinay Modi. In my first video, I talked about having an importance of plan B and focusing on the moot question as to why have you decided to go for management or MBA as a career. Because I believe that clarity gives that push that is required and maybe you get better results in forthcoming exams. Today, I'm going to talk about the eternal balance which is required in life, speed and accuracy. Almost all management exams will focus at optimum of both, and that's where we need to really look at this issue categorically. In life also we've seen that people who strike balance in terms of speed and accuracy, they have the last laugh. But apparently society celebrates speed more. A lot of people believe that 100-meter race is about speed, but in my opinion, an accurate takeoff makes a big difference. So it's about having the balance. Let's look at CAT exam in the past. CAT was essentially driven by speed. 2 hours and 185 questions. Now that was a game of speed, blistering speed I would say. But CAT has changed its color over a period of time and now 3 hours, 100 questions. Assuming a good student attempts 60 questions, then also he or she ends up having 3 minutes for one question. And then there are questions which can be done the fastest. So they might have 4.5 minutes per question. And that's huge. That means there's a lot of focus on analysis, accuracy and focus. Can we say the same for all future exams that we are going to write? Well, let's try to see. The moment a student thinks about IFT, symbiosis, ZAT, they are reflecting, 2 hours, 125 questions, 2 hours, 150 questions, 3 hours, 100 questions, and then they have this feeling that speed is going to play a major role. That is true, but then can something be done in order to actually improve and optimize? I believe there are 5 to 6 steps that a student should really try and take in order to optimize and get better results and have a balance. First and foremost, there is a lot than what meets our eyes. That means this speed orientation may be an eye wash, because when you look at the cutoff, I think the game is completely won by accuracy. Last year CAT, the cutoff was less than 50 out of 100 marks. SNAP, for SIBM, the cutoff was 65 to 70 out of huge number. Now that means people who were accurate, they were able to actually do well. So let's not forget the most conventional and traditional phenomenon, which is the balance part. Having said that, second thing a student should really do is to try and strike that optimum balance for 2 hours. When I say optimum balance, I mean energy level. That poise, that momentum, that energy level that students tend to miss or skip after 1 hour. You will see possibly that 90% of students, when they write exams like these, first hour they actually go at a blistering pace, but then second hour they tend to slow down. Not physically, but mentally they tend to slow down. And the best way is to give auto suggestion to your body and reflect that clarity in communication and say that I'm going to perform, this is my exam, and every moment you actually have better momentum and better energy. Those students who actually can keep that momentum till the end, they are the people who have a very strong balance between speed and accuracy. Second important aspect is this reason that one needs to ask as to why people actually fumble when it comes to maintaining that speed. I believe there are 2-3 things which happen. First and foremost, people get stuck. They choose wrong questions and they get stuck. Second, their reading speed. Because we believe that reading is all about reading comprehension or language part. But if you are a slow reader, believe you me, your data interpretation question reading will be slow. Your maths questions will be read slowly. That means overall, you will not be able to optimize. And third, this fear, irrational fear that this may happen. There's this, fear of fear, which is called as phobophobia. People have this phobophobia for exams like these. It's better to get rid of these 3. That means, assuming that you work on your concepts well, assuming that you have a smooth sailing towards finding questions where you don't get stuck, you will always have better speed and accuracy momentum. Third, very important aspect again, I believe if there are 4 sections or 5 sections, a good student or a student who cracks these exams will have at least 2 sections where he or she is very strong. Or maybe out of 5, 3 sections, he or she is very strong. It is pretty important for one to know that if you are good at 2 sections out of 4 sections, then you can easily actually scale up and scale down and have the momentum. What I'm trying to tell you is that you always take off with what you're good at, the best at, and you get the momentum. When you get the momentum, then you might possibly go towards a section where you are not relatively so good. Once you do that, because there's going to be a lot of pressure in that section, then you move towards your forte again and you get that momentum again, and then you move on to a section where you are not so good or maybe relatively less good, and that balance is very important. This is critical because there are people who end up doing all easy questions and easy sections in first hour. In the second hour, they struggle, and that's real challenge for students. I think the strategy, if executed very well in competitive exams, can really give you brownie marks, and you will see the advantage. Do it in mock test, you will see the advantage. Third very important aspect when students talk about having momentum, I believe every section will have micro types of questions, and if students have thumb rule for every type of question, I'm sure they will not get stuck, or they will possibly have no regressions or no regret. What I'm trying to convey out of this point is, I've seen a lot of students, they start with a reading comprehension passage, and after 3-4 minutes they realize that they are getting nothing out of it. But they don't really leave that because they believe that they've already crossed halfway. That's where smart souls will always have thumb rule. When I say thumb rule, every type of question, when you are preparing using mock tests, have certain parameters. For example, maths question. If 2 minutes go by, I'm going to leave the question. Let's say data interpretation. If I've read the entire data and still I'm not getting anything out of it after 3 minutes, I leave the question. I do a passage for 3 minutes, 2.5 minutes, I'm not getting anything out of it, I will leave. This fear of not leaving a question or a set leads to so many failures, because then you are not just losing one question, possibly a set, or maybe the momentum is against you, and that has a ripple effect on other areas also. So it's better that you learn to leave. That will give you a very strong orientation towards maintaining that speed, because you don't get stuck in that case. Fourth very important aspect is ego. Yes, this is something that I have seen a lot of talented students, they get stuck to questions because they believe that this is something that is their forte, and that intellectual arrogance causes disabling ignorance. They don't realize that they are spending 7 minutes, 8 minutes on a question and not getting anything out of it. So that selflessness and that egoless approach would really help a lot. It's okay, it may be a strong point or a forte, but you're not getting anything out of it, just leave it. So learn the art of leaving, and you'll see how you actually get the best out of it. Very, very important aspect out of speed and accuracy that I've seen. Now, when exams are around the corner, people start actually searching, people start talking to so many people, and they start actually having that orientation that, I need to have X number of attempts, I need to have X number of marks, my accuracy should be X percentage. Now that when it plays in their mind and when they go for exam, it is quite obvious that they will always try to achieve, which is illusionary, which may be a mirage. And in that entire bargain, they may not get anything out of it, because they have forgotten the most basic phenomenon which young, talented, smart student or performers do that. They use 4S strategy very well. They scan, they search, they select, and they solve. When they scan, they are like a blank slate in the exam. They don't really have anything which is preconceived notion. They look at the paper, they get the feel, they get the hang of it, and then they actually get the momentum, because there may be a very different approach that the examiner has set for themselves. Now that's where I believe capacity to visualize as to what may be the optimum performance of their competitor, I believe gives every student a very strong cutting edge advantage. Because if that wisdom I get while writing the paper, then I can change the momentum. And in my last 18-19 years experience, I've seen students goof up where it matters the most. It's better to have restraint and have total focus towards speed and accuracy. And there are exams which reward accuracy handsomely. And of course, like CAT does not reflect openly or overtly, but it is quite obvious looking at the past record that students who actually are very smart at maintaining accuracy have the last laugh. So my message to all of you is that don't even ignore any of these two. Find balance is important. Once you maintain that and have that momentum, you will possibly end up doing better than what you normally have done. So that's something which I actually wanted to communicate. In my next video, I will talk about the importance of strategy and how better strategy can change the game. Thank you so much.